'Cause it makes you chase what's not meant to be chased. 'Cause you've possessed it all alone. It comes to steal and hide what is real. Comparison kills.
Because it's so easy to compare. I mean, it takes, opening your phone in 10 seconds and you're in comparison mode.
It's a good point, and I think I don't know the full answer to that. Maybe you'll have some points, but one thing I do want to say that has helped me is understanding that there are definitely like a lot of voices in our head, right? That tell us compare yourself to that person. There's these suggestions all the time. You know, look at that person's face. Why isn't your face? Look at their makeup. Look at the eyes. Look at the hair. Or listen to that person's voice. Why don't all those different things? And a lot of the time we are susceptible to that because we don't spend enough time with ourselves, creating a space where in that space there is the freedom to explore, to make mistakes, to discover us.
Yeah.
So in that space, you're not critiquing yourself, you're not engaged in negative self-talk, you're not putting yourself down, you're just discovering what you have. And I think that if we don't create the space to do that, the freedom to be safe in an environment where you can just like screw up as much as possible, because actually making mistakes is the stepping stones to discovery, and making mistakes is the stepping stones to success. And what success are we talking about? The success of discovering your unique you, your unique artistry. So if we don't create the space to do that, what starts to happen is you are always putting yourself in an environment where other people are judging you and critiquing you and telling you that you're not this and you're that, and the winds of their opinions just going back and forth are going to mess you up, because you just don't have the space to discover who you are and what makes you tick and what makes your voice unique and what makes your expression different. So I do believe that part of that answer is spending time. For instance, I do a lot of improvisation with people. And I think it's the most liberating thing. For a lot of singers, it's the most scariest thing. You mention improvisation, they're like, huh? What? Improvise? And I'm like, you're a singer. Why you? That's the most beautiful, most liberating thing you can do. Because why? No one is telling you what to do. No one is saying sing it like this, do that. It's literally whatever you want it to be. There's no right or wrong. There's no good or bad in that environment. Just enjoy what you are doing. Let's see what comes out. Embrace that.
Yeah.
And when I put people into that situation, in that environment, they started off kind of like really scared of it.
Yeah.
And the minute they just start to say to themselves, you know what? F it. Just screw this. I'm just going to enjoy this and have fun with this moment. And just, it doesn't matter if it's right or wrong. It doesn't matter if it's good or bad. It doesn't matter if my voice cracks or not. That's not the point. The point is just to let it go. And then we start to hear things popping out of them, and the reactions are like, whoa, what was that? And then they start to go, wow, I can do this. Oh, I didn't know I could do that. I didn't think that sounded good. But I gave myself permission to just look at that and explore that. And actually, I really felt great about what I just did. And that's where it all begins. Because when I can tell you now, the minute you leave your house, all those voices are just going to be attacking you anyway. So you might as well create a space where even just for 10 minutes, they don't exist. They're not there. You've not allowed them the space to attack you.
Yeah.
You've told them to back off so that you can just enjoy the element of fun, the element of exploration, the element of discovery.
So true.
And I think that's important in
So
being able to
powerful.
define and understand who you are, so that when you do see somebody who's different, you can actually celebrate their difference and they celebrate your excellence.
Yeah.
So it's a mutual
Exchange.
of just celebrating each other, because oh wow, you're so great at, but you're so great at that,
Yeah.
what you do. And I think that's
so,
really
so
beautiful.
powerful. I think also the way that you can empower yourself or yourselves, whoever's watching this, is to really come to terms with the fact that we are all flawed beings. The minute you accept that, no one can use it against you. No one can. I already know that I have some deeply embedded imperfections, but as long as I'm working at doing my best every day, nobody can use those against me. They just can't. They can state them as a matter of opinion, or they can draw on them as a matter of, trying to attack me. But the reality is, again, it goes back to the mindset that I just have a very different relationship with confrontation and disappointments. I think also remember that if you're taking other people's opinions to heart, people are changing constantly, meaning that you're attaching yourself to opinions that may not even last or stand in the very next minute.
Which means comparison is also pointless because people are changing.
People are changing.
So you
constantly.
start comparing yourself to someone and then they've changed, and you're like, what? You're going to change with them?
Yeah.
That doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it's I was listening to a guy called Stephen Furtick, and he talks about how we as human beings, if we don't build on a solid foundation, we are actually building on a foundation of moving sands of other people's opinions. Sand is constantly moving. You put your foot in and you're just sinking into it.
Yeah.
Like, build your solid foundation. Be unafraid to push the boundaries of your potential. When you start pushing those boundaries, and this is the beautiful thing about UA, is people come in thinking that they have a certain level of talent, and then they get pushed so much that yes, they make mistakes, and yes, in their eyes they fail, but actually what happens is they start to exceed those levels of potential they thought that they had when they came in, and they go out a completely different artist.
That's
How
beautiful.
incredible is that?
If you're going to compare yourself to anyone, compare yourself to yourself.
Yeah.
Have a vision of where you want to be 10 years ahead. What does that 10 years ahead artist in your or version of yourself look like? What does that artist sound like 10 years ahead? How are you playing that instrument? How are you singing? If you can imagine yourself on stage 10 years ahead of yourself, what are you wearing? What do you look like? How are people responding to you? How do you sound? What kind of things are you doing? What kind of music are you singing? Try and almost visualize that and compare yourself to that. Chase that. Chase that version of yourself. That's a really cool thing to do. And find, there are mentors, really great mentors that can help you to achieve a better version, because they want to find out what it is you want to achieve. So I think sometimes comparison can be because a person doesn't even know what they have and who they really are.
Yeah.
So discovering, like I said, what you have, what is powerful, what is your strength, then you can build on that to exceed that at some point. I think that's really key, so that you're not looking at somebody else's strength and trying to pursue that. No, you're looking at what your strengths are and what you can make it. I think that's really important.
Gosh, can you imagine if Lizzo had tried to be like Beyonce, or if Billie Eilish had tried to be like Taylor Swift?
Even
we
closer, if Beyonce's sister Solange had taken the pressure of the fact that her sister was a mega selling artist and tried to be like that,
we would have never had Solange.
Her stuff is incredible. But I'm so happy, like, it took her a minute to really find that. She found it.
Yeah.
She definitely found it.
Do you know, I want to go back to something you said a second ago about mentors and surrounding yourself with the right people. So guys, one of the things that we hear all the time is, but to have mentors, it costs money, and I'm an independent artist and I don't have that kind of money. I just want to say something, that when you start to, and I'm going to talk about Ultimate Artists specifically, and I know that there'll be a lot of our artists watching this who will be able to testify to this, but when you attach yourself to an entity that really wants to see you succeed, and whether that's seeing you succeed in just day to day or having that big dream and vision come to fruition, when you start to attach yourself to an entity like that, money goes out of the window. The amount of time we spend with our artists just giving advice, just literally sitting there being a counselor sometimes, or navigating them through a really difficult situation. Like I can talk about, trying to get artists out of management deals, or, all of a sudden they're seeing something that they've not signed a contract for, like whatever it might be. Know that there are people in the industry who want to help people like you, and align yourselves with those kind of people, because I guarantee it won't just be about the career, it'll be about you as a person as well. And that's what you want. You want people who actually care about you as a person. They care about your well-being. They care about your state of mind. They care if you wake up in the morning and you feel so terrible you can't get out of bed, because all of those things are real. They happen, particularly to artists, because I feel like we are by our very nature, we are emotional beings, and music is our way of expressing ourselves. And that kind of, I don't even know how to put it, but that space is so sacred, because it's about us expressing our truth all the time, about us being as authentic as possible. That can also be quite draining, and you need the support around you to lift you out of those moods and those spaces where you can feel sometimes negative. You can feel like you're not good enough. You can feel like you don't deserve to have this place that you have. But honestly, align yourself with the right kinds of people, and there are people out there. And again, I'm going to say to you, don't be so focused on the fame, because there are a lot of people that can chat a lot. They'll tell you everything you want to hear, and they're charging a lot of money for it, but the intentions behind that are very different, very different. Sometimes you don't need someone who can give you all your dreams on a plate. Sometimes you just need someone who can listen to you and help navigate you out of a situation that is holding you restricted by your throat, that you feel like you can't breathe. Sometimes they're the kind of people you need. And the beauty about the UA community is, from artists to every single mentor involved, that's what we care about the most.
100%.
So
100%.
just be mindful of like who you're surrounding yourself with. Because energy is a very real thing, and energy speaks volumes. If you don't feel so good around somebody, kind of engage with that feeling. It's a real feeling. Energy speaks volumes, So I just wanted to make that point, because I think it's really important.
That's a beautiful point. And I think, just to summarize on the the idea of comparison, I hope you've listen to what we've, some of what we've said, and I hope it's helped. But if there are things that you would like to add to that, that come to mind, please definitely share that with us.
Yeah.
One of the things is that I want to say is, if you look at the landscape of artistry right now, and over the course of time, you will find that out there, music is one of those things where you either really love it or you really hate it. The people that are gonna love Michael Jackson, the people that aren't gonna like that music. There's people that are gonna love Lizzo, the people that aren't. The people that are gonna love Beyonce, the people that aren't, and that's totally okay. And you have to be very, very comfortable with that and understand that that's a reality. I think with comparison in a similar form, just understanding that your differences are okay is everything. Knowing that the way your voice sounds is totally okay. Knowing that however your writing style is okay. And the fact that as you work on it and as you progress, with hindsight, you will start to see that you're actually a better version of what that was. And that's the development that we're talking about. That's progress that we're talking about. So as you keep advancing forward, when you look back, you can actually compare yourself. I was talking about comparing yourself to the vision you have ahead of you. You can also compare yourself to where you've come from and see that you've actually advanced. See that you're stronger. See that you sing better. You've got more control. Your writing's definitely developed. All those different things, you can look back in hindsight and compare and see that there is progress. Whilst at the same time, you can look ahead and compare to yourself to what you want to be and keep striving for that excellence. So I want to just flip the concept of comparison around, that it doesn't need to be about you looking at somebody else and trying to be like them, but it can be about you looking forward to what you want to be and aiming for something, and also looking back from where you've come from and realizing how much you've actually achieved and progressed, and how your hard work has actually created something really good and advanced you sometimes beyond your years. So get stuck into developing yourself, your mindset, your skills, your relationships with comparison, disappointment, working with good mentors that really genuinely care about you and don't have any other agenda apart from just wanting to make sure that you become a better version of you.
And just respect the gifts that you've been given, because not everybody can write.
Respect the gifts you've been given, because
not everybody has been given them. I have so many people who say, oh gosh, I wish I could sing, like I wish I could write a song, and you guys can do it. So really just respect the gift you've been given, and please try not to get caught in this trap of comparison. Like, it's just not going to serve you at all.
It kills. Comparison kills. Listen to that song by Jonathan.
I'm going to play it.
Listen to it.
Until next time, guys. Love. We'll see you
Peace.
soon.
Rice and chicken.
We're always thinking about food. Are you hungry?
I'm really hungry.
Yeah, let's eat.
Yes.
Alright, done.
All right.